Graham Matthews, Bleacher Report, fan-sided daily DDT. Good morning, my man. How you doing?
Doing great, brother. How about you?
I'm doing good. We're taping this live July 18th. We're live on X, Twitter, YouTube. Go ahead and follow us on those channels. If you got any questions or comments or feedback, hit us up in the chat. We'll read it off while we are doing the show. Graham Matthews on Twitter, X at WrestleRant. Find myself, Rainy J. Cruz, RENDY. Letter J C R U Z. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music, and youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Again, we're doing this live on Twitter, X, and YouTube. Any questions, feedback, comments from myself or Graham as we are on the road to SummerSlam, hit us up in the chat and we'll get right to it. So, Graham, I want to start either one or two ways. I know it is a tradition every year that we bring up our top five SummerSlam matches. Um, because I think every year we tend to change what those matches are.
Mm-hmm.
But I might want to put that to the side and talk about Raw this weekend, this past Monday. And you brought it up before we made the show live about the Wyatt stuff. So I think you liked what happened with Bo Dallas and Chad Gable and that whole situation. Me, I'm like, I, I look at it from a standpoint of if you do the vignettes and you do the build and it's like, oh, like what's supposed to happen, it's like a year build for the Uncle Howdy and the Y6 and everything, and now they're on television. And why explain to me, why would they have Bo Dallas come out there, obviously exposing that it is Bo Dallas last week, and then now you have Chad Gable and his people jump him and now
Yep.
make him look like a regular person. So explain to me, why do you feel that was the way to go?
I think it's a nice change because I feel like for so long they went the supernatural route to make people like Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family. They weren't really entirely supernatural as much as like the Fiend was, and
Yeah.
what we were seeing with him and Uncle Howdy before Bray passed. But I just feel like they did it to a point where like if you were going that route, they made them too unstoppable to where they weren't made to look vulnerable at all. I mean, Bray would lose whenever it mattered most as the Fiend usually, which was part of the problem with his booking.
Hmm.
But I feel like they didn't make him vulnerable enough as the Fiend for it to be believable when he has matches and storylines. They're just doing the same shit every week and laying people out, or he's laying people out, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, whatever. It's going to get boring pretty fucking quick. So don't blame me for not liking it, but so far I've liked the approach they've taken with this, giving us new insight on each member. So far, it's only been Howdy and Rowan. We saw Rowan on Monday. He cut the promo of his career in that sit down interview. I thought that was great. Him talking about the
Hmm.
passing of Bray and Luke Harper and whatever. So I thought that was really well done. But I thought the attack itself, it was a different approach. They revealed that Dallas was Howdy, which again I like because he's not going to wrestle. I don't think as Uncle Howdy. You can't have him out
No.
there wrestling with the fucking mask on. I don't know if any of these guys are going to be wrestling with the mask on. I don't think they need to. I don't think they should. So
Right.
exposing who they are without the masks, making them look vulnerable. It would be one thing if the Creed brothers just beat up Bo Dallas and that was it. That would have been one thing. But the Wyatt Six did come out eventually, make the save. They all posed in the ring for the first time together. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great visual as well. And we also got Chad Gable with the Creeds, which was also a nice plus and a long time coming.
Right. I mean, I do agree with you about, show a little vulnerability. Because I think all signs point to SummerSlam, 6 man, that kind of match. Um, but like doing it before they even get in the ring, because I think weeks ago we spoke about in its entirety, like how do we do this? Are we going to take it in the ring,
Yeah.
outside the ring, supernatural, do different kind of cool stuff? But I guess now that it's pointing to a match, or going to the ring. So you got to take Bo Dallas out of the Uncle Howdy outfit. You got to take Eric Rowan out the outfit. And everybody becomes regular people
Yeah.
because they got to fight in the match. But it's like, damn, like before they even have a match, you're making Bo Dallas get jumped. And then the fact is, like, does it make sense where that's happening? But then like the rest of the Wyatt family come out like 10 minutes later, and then
Mm-hmm.
like Chad Gable and the Creed brothers leave, like, and everybody gets together. I'm saying just to make it make sense how you let that happen for 10 minutes. and then it's supposed to be like, all right, now we're all good together. That is me.
I mean, it could have been in the approach where, because you saw Bo Dallas taking the beating and he was laughing about it like
Yeah,
Joker style. So it could have been the idea that he didn't mind that he was getting beat up. He knew he was going out there. I mean, he didn't know he was going to be outnumbered because the Creeds weren't waiting. I mean, they were waiting for him, but it was an ambush attack. It wasn't like they
yeah,
were all in the ring and Bo Dallas was made to look stupid. That kind of came out of nowhere. Unless you've been paying attention, you've been seeing Gable with the Creeds backstage in the background and shit. But yeah, no, I mean, he was laughing about it, so he clearly liked enduring the punishment.
yeah.
So maybe that's why they waited so long. I mean, that's a typical wrestling thing. We see that in a lot of stuff. So that didn't really overly bother me.
Hmm.
But it really all depends where they're going with this. I mean, you mentioned the 6-man tag team match is probably a formality for the pay-per-view at this point. I'm not sure. I mean, I thought so too, but it's also very possible they do Bo Dallas and Chad Gable just one-on-one.
Okay.
And even if we do get the 6-man of the pay-per-view, it may be not Bo Dallas. He may not even be in there. It might be Rowan, Joe Gacy, who's one of the other members from NXT, and Dexter Loomis. Dallas as Uncle Howdy might just be their manager. So there's a lot of different ways they can go with that. I feel like they should win regardless. If we were to have this conversation in a couple of weeks and they lose at SummerSlam, then I would agree. The fuck are we doing here? Like, I think Gable needs a win. All these guys need wins. Creeds too. So I agree with that. But I wouldn't make the Wyatt Six lose their first match. That'd be pretty fucking dumb. But yeah, what we saw on Monday, I liked overall. It's really more a matter of where they go with it. I mean, we've been saying that since day one, and so far so good, I think. But it's all about the follow-up, and I think so far the follow-up has had my interest personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I just don't want them to go down a path of like, because with the Bray stuff, some could say, all right, it was okay, good job, but or you could say they kind of fucked it up, and
Oh,
you
they
don't want
definitely
to.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they fucked it up big time, and you don't want the same thing to happen to these people because it's been a year and you're doing a lot of great vignettes, a lot of different kind of movie style vignettes are very cool and different. Like, oh shit, this is not your typical promo, and
Yeah.
then like it's how you portray it in the ring into the wrestling format. And it's like, all right, I was gonna do the same old bullshit, get attacked, they come out save me. All right, we got a 6-man tag match. But for you to say Bo Dallas may not even wrestle Chad Gable or be a manager, I hope not. I hope Bo does get in the ring because for him to be a manager, it just kind of be weird to me. Like you do all this, but you won't get in the ring for whatever reason. I'm hoping that it becomes a 6-man involving him or
Okay.
a 1-on-1 match with Chad Gable.
Yeah, I mean, at some point he will wrestle. I think the
Yeah.
fact that we're getting a match, hopefully that soon. That's not confirmed that they're facing at SummerSlam. I haven't seen that reported. We're just
Mhm.
watching the show going off of that. I hope we do have them wrestle at SummerSlam. I think Bray Wyatt's in-ring debut actually happened at SummerSlam back in 2013.
Mm.
I wouldn't wait because the Fiend, like, I mean, one of his first appearances was at SummerSlam 5 years ago, actually, almost exactly. Again, he
Yeah.
also had his first match at SummerSlam. So it would kind of be fitting if the Wyatt Six also had the first match at SummerSlam. But like he started teasing the Firefly Funhouse Bray in April and didn't wrestle until August, and it worked out fine. But like when Bray first came back in 2022, he didn't have his first match for like fucking 3 months. It was
Mm.
ridiculous. I mean, I guess you can make that case now because these vignettes with the Wyatt Six started in like April or like the teases and shit. So it already has been a while. I would not drag this out for another like 6 months. I mean, they got to wrestle soon, and I think they will because so far I think they've taken a different, realistic approach to it. And like I said, it's had my interest. It's something different. It's something different than what they've done before. They got to tread lightly. The supernatural stuff can be very hit or
Yeah.
miss, and I think so far they've done well with it.
So I kept hearing about the Eric Rowan promo. I did not see it. I forgot. I think the home run derby was on,
Yes,
and
it
I was I
was.
was, I was flicking back and forth,
Yeah.
and I got caught up in that, and I came back, and Eric Rowan cut the promo of his life and the vignette. I was like, so how was that? How was that vignette before I watch it?
It was better than the national anthem. I'll tell you that much. And the national home run derby, but
Oh yeah, you heard
yeah,
about that too?
I had seen people tweet about it during Raw as it was happening,
Yeah,
and
it was
people were
bad.
like, "Man, that shit was awful." But like, I see that shit all the time. Like, I see
Yeah,
not from you specifically, but when it comes to sports stuff or really anything like live tweeting during sports games, man, that throw is awful. Like everything is like the worst of all time or the greatest of all time in the moment, and you don't really believe it. Usually, it's like somewhere in the middle. But then I saw the clip later on or the next morning or something. I'm like, man, that really was fucking terrible because I had seen that she posted that she got drunk and that was why she sounded so bad. So
Wow.
pretty embarrassing. But as far as the Rowans, and she actually admitted herself to rehab like right after that. It was all over her Instagram.
She said she was drunk. She said it for real.
That's what she said. She literally posted the next morning. That's how I kind of found out about it. I saw the tweets initially, but then I saw that what she said. She responded the next Instagram because she must have been bombarded with like, "Hey, that was fucking terrible." And again, usually you see that and you're like, "Oh, it's probably because she just wasn't good." But then she was like, "Hey guys, not to bullshit you, but I was drunk last night during the national anthem. I apologize. I'm admitting myself to rehab immediately," which is crazy. And I don't even know who this person is, but yeah, it's fucking crazy. It was crazier than anything that happened on Raw. I'll tell you that much. But I was like, man, that's wild.
Yeah,
It's
but
really bad.
You think MLB's all right? Since you were drunk, can you give me the money back that we paid you, or you think you're gonna keep the whole shit?
You would think, dude. I mean, that was embarrassing. I mean, that is. I mean, it's the national anthem of all things. And again, if you're bad, you're bad. But if you're bad because you're drunk, that's even worse. Like that's so disrespectful. That's crazy. Yeah. She will never be able to live that down, I don't think. But meanwhile, over on Raw, the Rowan segment was really good. It was along the same lines of the Bo Dallas Uncle Howdy segment where he mentioned like it was really deep shit. Like he mentioned how he was deeply affected by Harper's passing. He didn't mention Harper by name, but he was obviously alluding to him. And then Bray. And he mentioned like, oh, if I was gone tomorrow, no one would give a shit about me. Like it was pretty crazy shit. Yeah, it was unmasked. He didn't have the mask on. I thought it was really well done. It's only like maybe 4 minutes total. But it was great. You know, I really enjoyed it for what it was.
I find it very amazing that anytime people fuck up the national anthem, it's like at an NBA All-Star game, a baseball All-Star game. I don't think Olympics, but it's like, has anybody like ever botched or did kind of job at like a WrestleMania national anthem, or think everyone's been like top notch?
I think I'm sure there were more mid-tier performances than I can recall. I don't remember anyone being fucking terrible. I always like a lot of the people they bring in for the national anthem, I don't recognize myself. But most of them, I think actually whoever sang, it wasn't that one. They had the All-Star game. Was that the Home Run Derby or the All-Star game on Monday?
That was a Home Run Derby.
Okay, so the All-Star game, I think they had whoever sang at that also sang the national anthem of WrestleMania 38, I was told, because it was in the same building in AT&T or same area or whatever. So, and she was good. Most of them were actually pretty good. Most of them are. I can't recall a single national anthem that was botched or bad in WWE. I'm sure there were some, but none of them really come to mind.
Well,
not as bad as that. I'll tell you that much.
No, and hopefully that whoever does the Vegas one is not drunk.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because you'll never do that shit again. I know we mentioned SummerSlam. We got 4 matches confirmed. That is the Cody Rhodes, your the one you want to see, Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
For the championship. We have Bayley, Nia Jax for the women's championship. We're gonna have Liv and Rhea confirmed for the World Women's Championship. And we got Damian Priest against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. So Rhea is officially back. She came back last week, but now made it official. She wants Liv at SummerSlam to get back her title that she never lost. And Dom is in the middle of everything. So could it be a scenario where Rhea walks out of SummerSlam still not champion?
Yeah, I think she actually is going to lose. That's my prediction. I think Liv is going to find a way to win. Dominic either helps her intentionally or unintentionally, and Rhea will lose. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of Liv Morgan. I'm on the Liv Morgan fan tour. Hold up. It's amazing how when you do a podcast, everybody wants to call you. Hold up.
Randy, they love you.
I'm saying,
I know you're busy and they want to bother you.
Yeah. I appreciate that. But what was I saying? The Liv tour, the Liv
Revenge tour.
Revenge tour. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of the Dominic situation. I'm a fan of, creatively Judgment Day imploding on each other. Still don't know how it pertains to Finn and Damian for that world title picture, but I do think that Rhea is going to lose at SummerSlam. I think Liv should have the belt a little longer. I like
Hmm.
this rendition of Liv Morgan, and seeing Liv officially dominate with Liv could be something very cool and entertaining. And have Rhea now on the chase because she
Hmm.
was a champion for a whole year and people were chasing her. Now it's her time to start chasing her title back. So I think she walks out. I think Liv walks out still champion at SummerSlam.
I think so too. I think it's the best way to kind of further the feud, prolong the
Yeah.
program, get more matches out of them. I mean, it's been going on for a while as it is, but I
Yeah.
think if you really want to maximize it and make people want to see Rhea win the belt back,
Mhm.
you don't do it immediately. Liv's been doing good work, and I feel like she
Yeah.
deserves a little bit of a longer run with a win at SummerSlam, and then you can build a Rhea eventually beating her and getting that belt back at some point, probably at Bad Blood. I mean, Bad Blood could be a pretty stacked show between that and Punk and Mac, some of
Mhm.
the other stuff they could do. Orton, Cody, maybe. I mean, that could be a pretty stacked lineup by that show in a couple months.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I think Liv will retain. I think she come SummerSlam.
Yeah. Because even according to Bet Online, they got 3 title changes happening at SummerSlam. So one match that they have isn't official yet. They got LA Knight winning the US title from Logan Paul,
Mm-hmm.
which you're very excited about that. Um, Gunther, Naya, and LA Knight they're saying are going to walk out champions. So that means Priest is losing according to them. Bailey is going to lose according to them, and Logan Paul. Would you bet money on all 3 of those becoming new champions, or 2 out of 3, or one or none?
I would bet on all three. I was betting on LA Knight. I think he's the least likely of those three to win the belt because he beat LA Knight or he beat Logan Paul in that triple threat qualifier for Money in the Bank a couple weeks ago at MSG when we were there. He pinned him in that triple threat.
Yeah.
Then he challenged him to a match at SummerSlam last week. I thought Logan Paul would get back at LA Knight by costing him the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, but he didn't. He wasn't even on that show.
Mhm.
I don't know if they would have Knight pin Paul and then turn around and take the title. I would be happy if he did because I think it's been long enough that Logan Paul's been champion. I think it's time to move on.
Mhm.
They can. I think they might build to a rematch. I think they might give Logan Paul the win in Cleveland, his hometown, or his home state or whatever, and
Yeah.
then have LA Knight win it at Bash in Berlin or something. I'm gonna say if I had to make a guess right now, we have to see what happens going into SummerSlam. I'll say that he loses it at SummerSlam. I feel like it's been long enough. If they want to do a second match, sure, they probably will. But I think we might get all three new champions. LA Knight, Gunther is a definite, and I would also be surprised if Nia Jax lost. I think Nia Jax walks out the new WWE Women's Champion as well. So, yeah, those are the 3 title changes I'm betting on for sure.
And is that the same sentiment you're getting with the Bailey Knight Jax match? Because I see a lot of people um, on Twitter, social media, like they feel Nia is going to be the champion. Is that because they just think it's her time? She has momentum going on, or do you think
Mhm.
the Bailey title run from WrestleMania now is not? I mean, like, is it underwhelming? Like, why the Nia Jax momentum now to become champion?
I've been totally fine with Bailey's run, and has not been the most exciting thing at all. But I mean, they had the triple threat at Backlash with her, Tiffany, Naomi. That was a very good match. The match with Piper Niven at Clash of the Castle was good. She hasn't really done much beyond that. That's really what's kept her busy. Now they have the Nia feud going on. So it's been a good run. The Nia reason, I mean, I would have never said this a year ago because I did not want Nia even back in the company. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm her biggest fan by any means at this point. But you got to give credit where it's due. I think she's vastly improved from where she was. Even when she came back a year ago, she's gotten into great shape. She's had some really good matches with Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, among other people. And she's been booked very well. I mean, she's largely
Mhm.
been dominant. And I'm looking forward to seeing her. Honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of run she can have as WWE Women's Champion. She's only had one singles run in WWE as a champion, not in NXT. It was on Raw about 6 years ago, and it was kind of short lived.
Yeah.
This can kind of give her a dominant run. They can have Tiffany cash in during the match, after the match, whatever. But I mean, I wouldn't even really rush into it that right now. I don't think you need to. We just had a cash in Money in the Bank.
True.
You can hold off a little bit longer on that. I don't think Tiffany needs to be champion right now. I think Nia can get a run, put Bailey back in chase mode. Nia's champion for a little bit. And yeah, that's what I'm kind of down with. And honestly, I totally forgot about this. If we are getting 3 title changes at SummerSlam, I put my money on Nia. I put my money on Gunther. I'm going to say Logan Paul retains in retrospect. I'm changing my prediction. I think Braun Breaker walks out, the new Intercontinental Champion. I would be surprised if he didn't. And I think we get a title change there, but not with Logan Paul and LA Knight on that show.
Great point. Great segue because I like Sami Zayn. I felt Chad should have been in the spot at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Against Gunther. Sammy's cool. I think he's gonna be involved in this bloodline stuff later on. But I think Braun Breaker, it could be a triple threat. You think with Dragunov, Braun Breaker, and Sammy, right?
I think it's possible. I think it's actually pretty likely. If they keep having Dragunov involved the way they have been lately in their match on Monday between Zayn and Dragunov, ended in a DQ or double DQ, non-finish, whatever, no contest. Seems like they would do a triple threat. Maybe Breaker pins Dragunov to become champion. I feel like that makes it even a better match because we just got Zayn and Breaker Money in the Bank, and Breaker lost clean, so this can kind of allow him to rebound. Even a singles match is fine with Zayn and Breaker, but I do think Breaker walks out regardless. The new Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, because I keep seeing that, and I keep seeing which could negate the possibility of a triple threat with Seth Punk and Drew McIntyre. I know it's Drew and Punk really have the beef, but somehow Seth is involved with both. So I don't know if they have 2 triple threat matches or just keep Punk and Drew by themselves. Seth is doing nothing, but keep Breaker, Sammy, and Dragunov. But I think Breaker should be Intercontinental Champion. I like Dragunov. I think it's too early for that. But you look at Braun Breaker, man, like it's just he's a Mack truck. Like
why not? With him,
yeah, why not put the belt on him? And you tell me, if you look at him and Sami Zayn together in the ring, like, oh, Braun Breaker could fuck up Sami Zayn in real life. So it's like, why not put the belt on him? I think Sami Zayn has had a good IC title run since WrestleMania, but I think he's gonna go into I would assume in this bloodline stuff coming up to help them out. So I think it's a proper time to get Breaker. I mean, if Dragunov wins, I'm not upset, but I think Breaker has more of the momentum right now.
No, I think he definitely does. I think Breaker's got the momentum. They've booked him very well. He's good enough in the ring. He's working with someone that's over in Sammy, so that helps. When you work with people who aren't over, you're not going to get over yourself, I wouldn't think. So they're getting him more over by having him work with Sami Zayn, and their match at Money in the Bank was very good. So I would take that next step with Breaker. I'd take the next step with him by making him champion at SummerSlam. I just feel like it's the logical next step in his ascent on the Raw roster.
Yeah. And of course, you're not putting no money on Solo Sikoa becoming new champion.
I don't think so. I don't think Solo walks out the new WWE champion. I would put money on Roman Reigns returning afterward and Cody and Solo headlining to set that up afterward. But I don't think Solo walks out new champion. I don't think he should walk out the new champion.
No. So Solo, nice guy, nice character going on. Great future.
Doesn't need it either. So
he don't need a belt. I'm just trying to figure 2 worlds. One, Roman comes back and costs Solo the championship, the match. But if Roman does not come back, I would assume Cody would win clean. I mean, they'll have a little smarts going on outside the ring, but I think Cody could win clean. I'm just trying to say, like, Roman coming back, what's that, 6 months, 4 months since WrestleMania? Am I bugging?
4 months, yeah. About 4 months he'd be gone for.
Is that long enough time to?
I think so. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't come back, I'd be disappointed a little bit because I want to see him back selfishly. But storyline-wise, there's enough to work with there for now anyway, where they don't have to do it at that show. I think they should. But if Roman does not resurface at SummerSlam, I think it's totally fine for the story for them to continue on without him. But then you also have to question, what do you do with the bloodline if Roman doesn't return? Let's say Solo does not win. He should not win. He is not WWE champion material, at least not right now. What do you then do with Roman Reigns? Or I'm sorry, the bloodline without Roman Reigns? Because the bloodline just lost. They continue feuding with Cody through the fall. They can continue losing. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that logical next chapter is Cody wrapping up his shit with the bloodline, beating Solo, and then the Bloodline's focus turns to Roman and who the true tribal chief is with him and Solo, because him and Solo does not need to be the WrestleMania match. Honestly, it could be Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu for all we know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's just what I would do. And then Cody can go on to face Randy Orton, which they've teased, and that's the feud and match that people want to see anyway, even over Cody and Solo Sikoa.
Right. Because I'm even thinking you don't have Roman come back at SummerSlam. Maybe there's a bullshit finish. Maybe there's no clean winner.
Yep.
Bash in Berlin. I don't know if you take it to Bash in Berlin, but maybe because it's Bad Blood now, right? Bad Blood is in October.
Yeah, it's Bash in Berlin and then Bad Blood. A lot of big
Right.
pay-per-views, yeah.
So if you pull the trigger for Roman to come back and call Solo the match at Bad Blood, because technically there is Bad Blood between them,
There it is.
and then which could set up the following month. That's War Games, right?
It should be, unless they announce another show. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, they have Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia in early November, and then after that they have War Games in late November. Yeah, Survivor Series.
We ain't talking about Crown. We're talking about War Games. Yeah, we're talking about the 4-on-4, 5-on-5.
Yeah.
But you could do that because by the time Bad Blood comes, it'll be 6 months that Roman's been out. I mean, I get it. It's SummerSlam. It's the biggest show. I get it, but you do have a good plan B because it makes sense storyline wise. Bad Blood. You set up the following month or month and a half, whatever, War Games, and yeah, I think because my thing is if Cody wins at SummerSlam, what does he do at Bash of Berlin? What does he do at Bad Blood? Like, who do you got? I think you might have to stretch it out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Bro. Do you think deep down inside? Do you really think that when they put the belt on Cody and they knew Roman was going to be out, no Roman, no Rock, whatever, Seth time off, Punk still hurt, all that. Do you think that they had a plan for Cody of like, all right, you're going to get this guy at Backlash, you're going to get this guy at Clash of the Castle, or do you think they're just doing it on the fly?
I think it's both. I think they know that long term they're building to Cody and Rock, which at this point looks like it's at WrestleMania. I thought it would be at SummerSlam, but obviously not. I think they know that's the bigger picture. I think coming out of Mania, they had a decent idea that it would be AJ Styles getting a shot, and they would do that feud. Logan Paul getting the shot at Saudi Arabia was kind of random because it came out of nowhere, but they may have had the idea they would do that. So I think they did have a plan. I mean, you can't really plan month to month in Mania because people get hurt, people show up, disappear, whatever. You sign new people, call people up, whatever. So I'm sure they didn't map out every opponent, but I think they did have a decent idea that he would feud with AJ, probably Logan Paul. The Solo thing they were building to since Mania because they've been building up the bloodline back up since Mania. And then Orton they've also been hinting at. And then Rock is hanging out in the distance. So I think they've had a decent idea of that, and they've delivered well on that, all things considered.
How much longer do you think we have good guy Randy Orton? How much longer do you feel like? I know it's coming. I know a heel turn is coming because that's what Orton does. Orton is heel turns are like Big Show and Randy Orton. It's like, all right, it's bound to happen every 6 months, every year, whatever. How much longer do you feel before they pull the trigger of a Randy Orton Cody Rhodes feud?
Hopefully not much longer. I think it kind of felt like they wrote Randy Orton out with that attack on SmackDown last week with the Bloodline laying him out. So I'm hoping that, Orton disappears and then he comes back and blames Cody for being taken out by the Bloodline because it's all kind of Cody's fault with what he started and he's coming to Cody's aid. Cody doesn't have his back, blah, blah, blah. I think we see the turn after SummerSlam. You could do Cody and Orton without turning Orton because he is so over, but I feel like it would make more sense if you do turn Orton because it just makes sense storyline-wise, and it makes the feud and matches that much better. So I think we see it coming out of SummerSlam going into Bash in Berlin or after Bash in Berlin. Definitely before Bad Blood. I think we're getting Orton and Cody by Bad Blood. I think that's honestly a guarantee at this point. I would be surprised if we didn't.
But like with Orton so over and like with the whole RKO out of nowhere stuff, people just like they're a fan of it no matter who it is.
Yep.
If Orton was to RKO Cody Rhodes at like SummerSlam out of nowhere, does that really mean he's a bad guy, or it's just more like, oh shit, Randy Orton get, oh that's crazy, and because he could be the tweener. He could be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, he
I
could.
fuck with Orton. He's a good guy, but that's my guy. He's a bad guy, but that's my guy. If he RKO's Cody Rhodes
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere, you might get a portion of the audience are like, oh, like I'm more side. I'm more Team Orton than Team Cody. You could get that dynamic.
Yeah, that's possible. I would be totally fine with that. I think it's all a matter of how they do the turn and how he explains the turn. And I think WWE's did a nice job of the shades of great
Yeah.
characters for a lot of their top talent anyway, with kind of letting you choose who you want to cheer for. Like Drew, the reason why he turned heel, quote unquote, was kind of justified for his actions and being screwed over and no one really giving a shit and blah, blah, blah. Like I
Yeah.
sympathize with that. But the way he goes about it is what makes him a heel. You can kind of do the same thing with Orton where you sympathize with what he's talking about, but the way he goes about attacking Cody and whatever is not ideal, and that's worth booing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm very curious to see how they handle that because I think it's going to be a great feud regardless. I feel that's the feud right now on SmackDown. I don't want to say the biggest match. I feel like the biggest match they can do aside from Cody and Rock is Cody and Roman 3, but I don't want to see that anyway anytime soon. So beyond those matches, I feel like Cody and Randy is the biggest match they can do on SmackDown right now.
And I know you're a very smart guy. Do you know of next month making a big anniversary for Randy Orton?
Yeah, 20 years since he won the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam in Toronto.
Against Vacant.
Vacant, yeah, Stevie Richards, yeah.
Yeah. And being the youngest world champion at that.
Yeah, the
Right?
youngest world champion
At that
still, I
time.
think, in company history, I think, up to this point, even now, I
Think so?
believe.
Still Orton's still the youngest champion?
I think he won it at 24, 23. I don't know if anyone, they've had a 23-year-old men's world champion on the main roster. I don't know if they have.
Wow. That's
Austin
crazy.
Theory would have been it, but he didn't cash in successfully, so.
That's right. He went for the what title he went for? He went after
Fucking
US
United
title?
States Championship,
That's
and he still lost. So, yeah, stupid.
Oh man.
I don't even think Braun Breaker, if he were to become champion soon, which I don't think he would become world champion, he
Yeah.
wouldn't even break that because he's like 25, I think. I don't think he's even.
Yeah.
I think Orton was like 23, 24. He was really young.
No, Orton was Evolution Orton was that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know yesterday was Money in the Bank 2011 anniversary. I saw, bro. I see these accounts at like 12 midnight. Pow.
Yeah. They got it
Years
scheduled.
ago today. I'm like, damn. So I'm like, because usually I do it at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. You're doing that shit at 12:01 a.m. Like I'm the first one to
Yeah.
do it. CM Punk, Money in the Bank. I'm like,
They're beating the crowds. Yeah.
I'm losing out. I got to tweet at midnight these anniversaries now.
East Coast
All right.
time. Yeah.
That's I know we spoke about that before, but probably the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view, probably the greatest match at Money in the Bank ever with CM Punk and John Cena. Great rivalry. They might rekindle their thing when Cena comes back. But two things before I let you go. I did see we mentioned John Cena last week about retiring and stuff like that in 2025. And the question about breaking Ric Flair's record, the 16-time world champion. And I feel like this company likes to break records. You know me, I was hell bent on Roman beating that Hulk Hogan record, but you told me no way, and you were right, which I'm still mad about. But Ric Flair said on Twitter yesterday he will be all in favor for John Cena to break his record. Obviously, he would want Charlotte to be the one, but she might do it on the female side. But he's all in for Cena to break the record, becoming a 17-time world champion, which is kind of cool of Ric Flair to do. Records are made to be broken, and I feel like that record will be broken by John Cena. Just a matter of when and where, because if he's a Mount Rushmore kind of guy and a guy who really held the company down for so long, and is a polarized, I'm gonna say bipolar, polarizing figure in wrestling. Like, all right, I could see Cena becoming a 17-time world champion, and then one more reign. I'm not saying two more, just one more reign. You got to fight through it, claw to get it. So if Ric Flair is down with it, then I think they might say, all right, if Flair gave us the blessing, then I think we're going to pull the trigger and have Cena become a 17-time world champion.
I mean, honestly, they could have done it anyway. Years ago, they could have done it really
Yeah.
whenever they wanted, whether they wanted to, you know, honor Ric Flair or not. I just don't think it made sense at any other point but now. Like for him to do it in his final year, whether it
Yeah.
be, at SummerSlam, probably not at Mania, but like, or even in his final match. I mean, I think we talked about it last week. I would probably do that though, where we don't have to get a full on run out of him. I don't really care about a Cena title run. I mean, Cena's last couple of matches were not great. I really don't need to see him with a championship, a world title. But if you have him win it in his last match, or go for it in his last match, you can go for it before that, but go for it again in his last match and win. He can immediately vacate it, do it at MSG or in Boston at a house show, whatever, televise it. And then you can put the belt on the line in the Rumble the following month. I just feel like that would be awesome. So, circa 1992. But yeah, I mean, I'm on board with Cena becoming a 17-time world champion. The Ric Flair record doesn't really mean much to me personally. He's obviously won more belts than that anyway, that WWE doesn't acknowledge or whatever. 16 is kind of like their made up number. But, I mean, I think it'd be a great story for his final year, and I think I would be definitely on board with it. And if honestly, Ric Flair, his best moments and matches are known for outside of WWE anyway, for the most part. Like Cena is one of the greatest of all time in WWE specifically. So if you really want to drive home that narrative, which they do all the time, but if you really want to further cement his status as a GOAT, he's the one to break the record. And then people can always say, 17-time world champion John Cena, he holds the record. And I mean, this company at this point is all about breaking records. So I don't see how they don't do it, honestly.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If he's going to break that record, he ain't doing it at no fucking house show. This ain't Diesel 1994.
No, like televised house show.
Bob Backlund. He's not doing no fucking house show.
No, what I mean, if they televise it and put it on Peacock or like a NBC special or something like that. Not untelevised, obviously, but like if his last match was at MSG the day after Christmas or at a Boston house show after Christmas and they televise it, it's a big deal. As seen as last, you give it its own pay-per-view or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that would be cool.
I would like to see John Cena mimic how Stone Cold won the belt against The Rock at WrestleMania 17, where he was doubting himself, but needed help from a different power, but like negative power, like a Vince McMahon. And but just like, yo, bro, like that's the heel turn you want. Like
that's
yo, bro,
not happening, Ray. We talked about this last week. It's not happening.
Tweener, John could be a tweener in his last go around. I cannot beat Cody. I cannot beat whoever.
No one's gonna boo that though. They want to sell tickets. They want to sell merchandise with the last match shit on it.
I don't want to see the towel thing. And
you're going to, Randy. You're fucking going.
We are in the beginning, but I think midway to the end, I gotta see something different, bro.
We're not going to see something different. He's been doing the same shit for 2 years. He's going to do the same thing for a 23rd year. I think we can live through it for one more year.
And to be real, that'll be so sad to never see John Cena even tippy-toe the dark side. When everybody else has done it. Everybody else has done it.
As a main eventer, he was a heel before that, to be fair. Like basic thugonomics, Cena started out as a heel.
Right. So we'll talk about John Cena.
Yes. As a main event.
Yes. As Bill.
It's not going to happen, dude. If they wanted to do it, they could have done it at least 12 or 14 other fucking times in the past decade, and they did not do it. Vince came close, and he fucking chickened out, and he didn't do it.
I feel like Triple H. I think it's in the notepad. Turning Cena somewhat heel in 2025 is on. If
it happens, Randy, you call it first. I will come on here for 30 minutes and praise you to death for calling it.
But I'll love it. Like, let's say Cena got a movie coming out and he's the bad guy. He's like Logan Paul. He's the bad guy with the belt, but I got this movie coming out. I'm going this red carpet. Like, I need that. I need the buzz cut John Cena, not the one he has now. That's gotta go.
It's not happening. Listen, honestly, to be perfectly fair at this point, and even a couple of years ago, but especially at this point, what does a heel John Cena even look like? So I went back and watched Money in the Bank 2011 yesterday, the main event with Punk and Cena. There's a million different opportunities where they could have turned Cena heel in the past decade plus, and they didn't. But that pay-per-view specifically, when Punk was super hot and Orton was also a babyface back then still, you could have turned Cena and had him align with McMahon and done the Authority before they did the Authority a couple years later. And it could have been like a Cena-backed faction. They could have done it then, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like the only heel Cena works is if you do like an authority, like, oh, he's the company man. But at this point, he's not even really around for that to work anymore. Fuck the authority. We're done with that shit. And he's such like a goofball. Cena is like Rock is one of the nicest men in the world. And I've always said it would have been very difficult to turn him heel again because people love him so much. But he can go out there and channel 98 Rock and be a fucking asshole and be like an annoying prick. And there was also a lot of negativity surrounding Dwayne anyway for his movies and shit anyway in recent years. I just don't see that same thing with Cena. I just don't. I just see him. He seems like a nice guy, a little weird, not heel. Unless we're talking total divas John Cena, where he's making people wear suits to his kitchen for breakfast. I just don't see heel Cena working in 2024. I just don't.
I think the closest we got before my last point is, I mean, I don't know if you can say he's a full heel or whatever, but the sparring sessions he had with The Rock.
Correct.
That attitude and that demeanor, like I'm coming to embarrass you and talk about real life shit backstage that'll bother me about you.
Yep.
And I'm letting the public know about it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of John Cena. I'm not saying go out there in black and white and start flipping the bird to the fans and I ain't doing all that, but the attitude of like how you're presenting yourself, or like I can't win a match. I'm doubting myself.
Yep.
The fans are turning on me. Like, you know, you booed me for so long. It bothered me, but now it's bothering me. Like those kind of things, those kind of actions can lead into like, all right, something's off with John, and it's annoying him, and it's getting to him because that clock is ticking, and he wants to be champion one more time, and he can't do it, but eventually he will. So it's like that kind of, we can't have this John Cena go all happy and this and that for a whole year now. Something's got to give.
I think he can go on a losing streak and become more serious. Maybe get more of an edge, but I don't even see a tweener Cena.
There you go, edge.
Yeah, the edge, sure, but I don't see him even going tweener, let alone heel.
All right. We'll see. We'll see in a couple months.
We'll see, yeah. We'll see when he's holding up the towel for the full year.
Noob, I see you in the chat. Good morning, man. We're doing well. Going to wrap up soon. So if you got anything for us, let us know. So Graham, I love doing this off the top of the head because I think my answers change every year. We are on the road to SummerSlam 2 weeks away, right? 2 weeks?
It's 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. Yeah.
Which you'll be at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Check it out. Working for Bleacher Report. Well deserved.
Appreciate it, boss. There's no talking to Bailey, but I mean that's still pretty. I guess it's
that's
cool.
right. Well, listen. You talked to some people that I'm like.
I have, but the Bailey one, I've interviewed her. I've never met her, so you got that over me. Let's be fair.
All right, so let's make a trade. I trade my meeting Bailey for you meeting. Give me somebody. Have you met Sasha Banks?
No, I have not. I've interviewed her, not met her though.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I have. I'm trying.
You met Triple H?
What'd you say?
You met Triple H?
Yeah, not formally, but I've met him, through like press conferences and very like not even shake hands. I haven't done that. I've interviewed him, but not like personally meet him.
So hold up, time out. So when you go to SummerSlam, are you going to be in the post game scrum stuff too, or no?
I will be there. I should be, unless I'm not allowed in.
But forward to your question, sir.
That's my question.
I'll be looking forward to your question.
Oh, thank you. I will try to make it a good one. I won't ask this some of the. I mean, listen. I think everyone. I mean, I can go on a whole. Do a whole video about it, but I think a lot of the questions are good. Or I also it's tough because sometimes it's hard to ask good questions in the moment, especially when we don't know who's coming out. But some of the stuff that is asked, I will say, is fucking egregious. Most of it is fine, something groundbreaking. I mean, most of my stuff isn't really groundbreaking either, but there are people that go out of their way to ask like dumb questions, and it makes everyone else look bad, and that's why we're talking about it right now. So, and they're all good people. I mean, there's no one in that room. I don't have an issue with anyone anyway, but for the most part, so.
Because I believe in you to not ask about Taylor Swift. You want to defend the title against Taylor Swift at WrestleMania?
I was gonna say I try not to bring that up, but that is the ultimate example of what a dumb question is, and that was wasted, and people still have not forgotten about that, and that was almost a year ago.
Hey, listen, man. If I was ever in that, either I'm not asking shit, or I'll be nervous to ask, because again, some might answer it, some might not. They might give a little. Listen, I can't talk about that right now.
That's fine. Honestly, that's better.
That's the one thing I don't want to ever have happen to me. If I ask Triple H a question, and it kind of sidearms it. Like, damn, man, my one chance to ask Hunter a question, he gonna sidearm me.
I know, but listen, that's good though. I think when people do that and they go, we can't comment on that right now, unless it's something, I mean, even if you know they're not going to comment on it, sometimes it's still worth asking because, like, for example, I mean, maybe now it's not as relevant, but obviously a couple months ago, if no one asked about Vince, they're not going to comment on it, obviously, but you still got to ask about it. I mean, it's crazy to ignore it, even if they just say no comment. I mean, when Triple H says, I didn't read the lawsuit, that was pretty fucking stupid. I don't know why he would say that. He should have really, honestly, I feel like they would be better if they just said, yeah, no comment right now. Cena kind of said that about Vince too, recently. Yeah. His answer wasn't great, but at least he attempted to explain it a little bit or answer it.
Yeah. All right. So your top 5 SummerSlam matches. Is it easy? Off top of your head, do you have a few in mind?
I got a few. I mean, I can't give you like the greatest SummerSlam match, but Bret Hart and Owen Hart from '94 is definitely top 5 steel cage WWE Championship. Okay. Also up there, Shawn and Triple H 02 Street Fight. Got to be up there. Definitely top 5. You could put Brock and Rock on there. I feel like that would be top 10, but not top 5. For also,
I'm talking about your top 5 though.
Like favorite or best? I mean,
your favorite SummerSlam. Your Graham Matthews top 5 SummerSlam matches. Like,
well, I mean, in the time that I've been, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say. I mean, honestly, so SummerSlam 02 was one of the only pay-per-views that I was not a fan for because I started watching around like 08 because I'm a younger fan. Obviously, I grew up watching a lot later. 02 SummerSlam is an amazing fucking pay-per-view. That and Survivor Series from that year are so good. Those are pay-per-views I will go out of my way to watch routinely, even though I was not watching back then. That's how good those shows are, in my opinion. And I think I would probably take Bret and Owen out of my top 5 for favorite SummerSlam matches, but I would keep Shawn and Triple H in there from 02. So that would be one. Punk and Lesnar is my number 1 from 2013. That's an amazing SummerSlam match. Love that feud. That is easily my number 1. Cena and Styles is either number 1 or a very close number 2 from SummerSlam 2016. I know you were there as well at that show. Great fucking match. Styles won that one clean. One of the best matches of both of their careers, actually. 2013, 2014. I'm trying to think of what else. Punk and Cena had a match in 2011 that I liked. Or Orton Christian in 2011 for the World Heavyweight title I really liked. In 2008, Edge and Taker inside Hell in the Cell. Those are probably my top 5 right there. I'm thinking of like recent years as well. I don't think any match from like the last couple of SummerSlams really stands out, but I feel like it would be Edge and Taker from 08, Hell in the Cell, in no particular order, but that one, Punk and Lesnar from 2013, Orton and Christian from 2011, No Holds Barred World Heavyweight title, 2016 Cena and Styles, and 02 Triple H and Shawn Michaels Street Fight unsanctioned. So off the top, I think that's not even like off the top of my head. That's like my top 5. I think I would lock that in personally.
So are you doing anything for BR as far as like the top 10 SummerSlam matches of all time, or have you done it before?
I'm sure I've done that before. I'm sure I have. I've written about pretty much everything, I'm sure, several times over. But I might be doing something closer to SummerSlam. Like I did Money in the Bank stuff before Money in the Bank. So it would either be this coming week or the week going into SummerSlam. So you can keep an eye out for that. It wouldn't be my top 5 favorite, but it could be best like finishes or worst matches, best SummerSlam shows. I've done that before. I think the best SummerSlam show to me is probably 02 to me. The SummerSlam 2013 was also one of the better ones as well. And there was a few of them, but I feel like those are certainly among them in my opinion.
So no Lex Luger Yokozuna for Graham.
Damn, just missed the cut.
No, honestly, I know you started later than me, but like I thought maybe in your contention would have been like what they considered the first TLC match in SummerSlam 2000.
Yeah, I don't have that nostalgia factor with it. Like I've seen it a few times, obviously, and it's an amazing match. Again, there's so many great SummerSlam matches that Steve Austin and Taker from 97 or 98, whichever one it was. Great SummerSlam match. I have no attachment to it. That's why I don't say that. Owen and Bret, same thing. Excellent match. I have no attachment to it, so I don't say that. Or even, honestly, I mean, the 02 show had several match of the year candidates, but even Angle and Rey Mysterio on that show comes close. And that opener was amazing. That's one of the best openers in pay-per-view history for WWE. But yeah, there's a lot of them. Even Eddie and Ray from SummerSlam, custody of Dominic in 05. I mean, those are all good matches.
So no Suplex City for Graham either. Brock and
When Cena destroyed Brock, or Brock destroyed Cena.
Yeah,
that was a great moment. I wouldn't call it like a great match. It wasn't really a match. It was more of a squash. But that was amazing though.
Real quick, off top of my head, obviously I had the more nostalgia factor. I will pick Hunter and Sean from 02. I will pick Brett and Mr. Perfect from 91. Intercontinental Championship.
That is
Garden.
A great match, yeah. Bulldog and the 92 main event at Wembley.
Oh, Brett and Bulldog?
Brett and Bulldog, yeah.
That if you ask someone, all right, we're talking about the general consensus, that's going to be up there.
Yeah, it would be. Not
Bret Hart. It was cool with me. It was fine. A very underrated match is Brett Undertaker from 97.
Yep.
With the whole Shawn Michaels referee, we kind of spearheaded that rivalry. And seeing the dickhead Shawn Michaels in DX, that was very underrated. But I'm trying to see the top of my head 2001 and trying to flip through the channels of like even recent years. I don't recall a match like that. I know there's a Stone Cold match in there. Oh hell yeah, yo, the Rock and Triple H ladder match, 98.
Oh, from 98, yeah.
Oh, that's
top 5, yeah.
That's tough.
We're leaving Bret Hart and Isaac Yankem out of there, or no?
Yes, we are. We're leaving Shawn and Vader out from 96.
That's a good match. What you really should include is Diesel and Mabel for the WWE title.
That's right.
At 95, or Taker and Giant Gonzalez. There's a lot of classics in SummerSlam history too.
Bro, that new generation era is suspect.
A lot of those SummerSlams are ass, bro.
How can we forget Undertaker against Undertaker? Grant, come on
now. Oh man, a lot of those SummerSlams in the 90s were fucking terrible. A lot of those mid-manias were mid.
Nah, but real quick, give me some that are recent. I'm trying to think of recent from like 2010. I mean, you ain't picking
man.
11 was the Orton Christian, right?
That was Orton Christian. It also had Punk and Cena in the main event with
Punk and Cena.
Triple H's referee. 2013 had Cena and Bryan, and that was an excellent main event. That was a really, really good match. And that was where Orton cashed in and turned heel, and the Authority started. That was awesome. I like that.
It's got to be. Didn't Roman get Brock at one of those, or Cena at one of those recent years?
You know what? Actually, yeah. You know what? I forgot about that. For recent years, I mean, we're talking the last couple of years. The last 10 years, I could probably name a few. So Rollins and Cena from 2015, also in Brooklyn, title for title. It was an excellent match, by the way. That was a great match. Best thing on the entire show that year. Recent years, Brock and Roman from 2022, that last man standing match they had, was actually awesome. That was the best match I think they've ever had, aside from the Mania 31 match. So, I mean, that would be my top 5 favorite, but that was an awesome match, and that would be among the best SummerSlam matches in the last 5 years, easily.
That's the one Brock came out with the big truck and the ring lifted up.
Yep. No, the tractor, yeah. That was sick.
I'm trying to think of any female matches. Any with the Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, Becky kind of.
Bianca and Becky had a great match 2 years ago. It was when Bianca beat Becky in the rematch from Mania, and then afterward, that was when Damage Control debuted, and Becky turned face. And the match itself was excellent. So that might be, I don't know if it's the best women's match in SummerSlam history, but it's up there. And also Charlotte and Trish had a great match. Trish ended up coming back last year, so it wasn't her retirement match, but it was seemingly her retirement match at the time. And Charlotte, beat her, and Trish put her over in Toronto 5 years ago. That was also a great match as well.
All right. My last point, for real. I'm going back at 20. This was done in 2022. Bleacher Report, they did top 50. I'll read off top 10.
Ever?
Top 50 SummerSlam matches as of 2022.
Okay.
So you might have to update this, my guy.
I might have to.
Number 10, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, 2019.
That was a great match. I don't know if that was top 10, but it is a great match.
I mentioned ladder match Triple H and The Rock, 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, brother. That was I just want to say this about that match. The Nation was at its peak. DX at its peak with Hunter and the Outlaws and X Pac China. It's the Garden. It's a fucking ladder match, and the Rock is on top of the world, along with Stone Cold. And I think he had his own theme song with the Nation, and it just the vibe and the energy that, I mean, I wasn't there, but when you're watching it on TV, like I begged my parents to, I gotta order SummerSlam '98. I got to. I was probably in trouble. I couldn't get it, but I saw it, and I said that ladder match, just the storyline, getting China involved. You see the Mark Henry stuff at the end, and this is still long pants Triple H.
Yep.
You know, this ain't the game, or it's time Triple H, but you could just see The Rock was on a different level. Like, and not saying Hunter wasn't good back then, but you could just see like it's Austin, then it's Rock, then it's Triple H. Like, you can tell, and just like that became, as far as ladder matches, aside from the Shawn and Razor twice, WrestleMania and SummerSlam, that was the pinnacle of what a ladder match should be. Later on, you get TLCs and all that. I get it, but that Rock and Triple H is by far top 5 SummerSlam and ladder matches of all time. So I'm like, all right. So when I see it at number 9, a little low, but I'll take it. Jericho Benoit, 2 out of 3 falls in 2000. I don't recall that match.
I don't really know much about
John
that.
Cena, AJ, 2016. You mentioned John Cena, Daniel Bryan, 2013.
That's what number? 6.
6, and that's when Orton cashed in, right?
And Triple H turned heel too. Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, 95 ladder match. That was
of course
tough. You mentioned Bret Owen, 94, tough. That's number 4. Number 3, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, 2013.
Amazing match. I mentioned that one.
TLC 1, right? Like I mentioned, Hardy, Dudley's, and Edge and Christian from 2000. And what's number 1? Oh yeah, Bret and Bulldog, 92.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so pretty much everything we mentioned.
Yeah.
Looking forward to SummerSlam. I know we'll probably do the preview joint next week, but are you looking? We got 4 matches right now, but are you looking forward to what's to fill out the card?
Yeah, I am. I think the top matches have potential. Damien and Gunther kind of got me more interested in their match following their verbal exchange on Monday's Raw. I think Rhea and Liv will be really good. I'm digging the story there. Cody and Solo, I'm not really sold on as a main event or as a match, but I think that should be solid. Elena and Logan Paul, I'm looking forward to. The Intercontinental title stuff, I'm looking forward to. Punk and Drew, definitely, but I don't know what form it's going to take. If Punk's cleared, it's going to be a triple threat. You don't know. But I think overall, I'm looking forward to the show, though.
And you think Cody would be the main event of SummerSlam?
I do, if only because Roman would come out afterward. You're not going to do that right before like the main. I don't think Gunther and Priest main events. Even if Gunther wins, and he will, I don't.
I think if it's not Cody, it's going to be Punk and Drew.
Yeah, Punk and Drew would be fine. I think Punk. I just don't think Drew. I think Drew's going to destroy Punk and win decisively. I don't know if they would want to close the show with that. I know they did with Brock and Cena 10 years ago. I get that.
Yeah.
But, Punk and Drew is the main event. If not, Cody and Solo. Not because it's a better match, but because of probably what it would involve with Roman Reigns. And Cody's also the face of the company, so I get it.
Well, Graham, I don't want to take you up much of your time any longer. I appreciate you every week. Follow Graham Matthews on Twitter, X at Russell Rants. Great work for both Bleacher Report and Fansided DDT. Find myself, Rainy J. Cruz, R-E-N-D-Y, little J-C-R-U-Z. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Also on youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. Until next week, Graham Matthews, my guy, always appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Much love. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too.
All right, bet.